And for today's Business Matters, with current summer gas prices at their lowest in 4 years, the national average for a gallon of gas was about $3.20 this week. The price is only a few cents higher than a month ago and more than 20 cents lower than this time last year. The last time prices were lower than this was 2021. So gas prices usually go up in the summer. A fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel has stabilized prices. This comes as AAA projects that nearly 62 million Americans will travel by car this coming 4th of July holiday. And the U.S. economy shrank 0.5% in the first 3 months of 2025. And that's more than double what the Commerce Department reported earlier in estimates. The nation's GDP, which is a key economic indicator, was previously reported to drop 0.2% in Q1 of 2025. This revised figure shows the economy contracted at a much faster pace than that. It also indicates that tariff fears earlier this year caused more harm than economists had realized. And the United States is sending less products elsewhere, according to the Census Bureau. Exports on goods dropped 5.2% last month. The decline comes after a 3.5% rise reported in April. That's the same month that increased tariffs from the Trump administration went into effect. Analysts say the downfall in exports caused the U.S. goods trade deficit to widen by more than 11%. Economic uncertainty has hit the Pillsbury Doughboy. Pillsbury parent General Mills forecast annual profit below expectations yesterday due to weak demand for its snacks and cereals. Here's more.
The company, which also owns Cheerios, Haagen-Dazs, and Betty Crocker, has been trying to boost demand through new products. Those include a fresh version of its Blue Buffalo pet food, as consumer demand rises for minimally processed pet food and treats. But analysts expect investments in marketing and acquisitions to take a toll on margins. Meanwhile, the company's CEO said the economic backdrop is likely to remain volatile, with consumers pressured by, quote, widespread uncertainty from tariffs, global conflicts, and changing regulations.
Now, for most Americans, the job hunt is taking a long time. According to new data from the U.S. Department of Labor, it shows about 236,000 people filed for initial unemployment benefits during the week ending June 21st. And that's down by about 10,000 from the week before. But continuing claims, which are filed by people who have received jobless benefits for more than 1 week, were up. During the week that ended June 14th, the number of continuing unemployment claims rose to its highest total since November 2021. The weekly reports are a potential indicator of how government actions are impacting the economy. And Trump media stocks has plunged by nearly half since the election. And Trump media shares have lost even more, 56%, since President Trump took office. That trails the S&P 500% gain over that time span. Trump media is still valued at about $5 billion, even though its share price is deeply in the red this year. And Trump media is now taking action in an effort to revive the share price. It has pushed into cryptocurrencies and promised to buy back up to $400 million of its own shares. The CEO of Trump Media said in a statement this week that the buyback amounts to a vote of confidence in the company, its stock, and strategic plans as well. Investors are happy with fashion giant H&M's reported slightly stronger than expected second quarter profit. H&M focused on the profit number rather than second quarter sales, which fell more than expected. Here's more.
Thursday's update was encouraging for CEO Daniel Ervér as he tries to refresh the Swedish brand. He said his focus is on profitability rather than solely sales growth. Sales hit $5.99 billion in the March to May period, down from a year ago and below analyst expectations. But profit reached more than $626 million above market projections. Zara owner Inditex also reported disappointing sales earlier this month. It's a sign consumers have pulled back from spending on clothes. H&M further said it expected sales in June to rise 3%. That would be a big improvement after a 6% fall a year ago in the same period.
Southwest Airlines is ready to make a focused effort to try to draw high-spending travelers away from competitors. Its CEO listed a few ideas in an interview with CNBC at an airport industry conference. Those include airport lounges, adding more premium seating, and longer-haul international flights. The airline has been in the middle of changes recently. Earlier this spring, Southwest announced it was ending free checked baggage, which was the airline's most recognizable perk. The airline previously announced it was eliminating its open seating policy and also started selling basic economy fares. Jordan says Southwest hasn't seen defections of customers since instituting the changes. Renewable energy developer Innov Energy and social media giant Meta Platforms have signed 4 deals to supply 791 megawatts more solar and wind power to operate data centers. This is the latest in a string of deals by Meta to meet the surging power demand of its data centers needed for artificial intelligence. So this is using clean energy, of course. Last year, Meta had signed 4 contracts with the same company for solar electricity. Meta has previously announced deals with several large solar projects, a geothermal startup, and is also seeking proposals from nuclear developers, nuclear power, that is. The electricity from Innov Energy's solar and wind projects in Ohio, Arkansas, and Texas will be delivered to the local grid. Novo Nordisk said it will collaborate with Weight Watchers to sell its blockbuster weight loss drug Wegovy starting July 1st. Under the deal, cash-paying patients can access a month's supply of Wegovy for $299. The one-time price will also be available through Novo's other telehealth partners through July 31st. The company said in a release, Novo recently announced the end of its collaboration with Hims and Hers Health, citing the telehealth platform's sales of Wegovy imitations and marketing tactics. Weight Watchers is set to exit bankruptcy. Novo said it's also maintaining deals with Ro and LifeMD, rivals to Weight Watchers. As the Health and Human Services Department scrutinizes the ingredients in the U.S. food supply, synthetic dyes have become a hot target. Nestle USA said on Wednesday that it will fully eliminate synthetic food colors from its U.S. food and beverage portfolio by mid-2026. NTD's Shar Marshall spoke with people on the street of Manhattan to find out what they think about Nestle phasing out dyes.
As the Health and Human Services Department takes a closer look at the ingredients in America's food supply, Nestle USA announced that it's phasing out synthetic food colors from its products sold in the U.S. Nestle said that the transition will be completed within the next 12 months, adding that more than 90% of its current categories already do not contain synthetic colors. While I spoke with only a couple people, they were all on the same wavelength of dye elimination being a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I think generally there are too many artificial flavors and additives in a lot of the food that especially my children eat. I've seen the way that it can affect just anything from the color of their mouth and stain their mouth and just look generally gross. And, it just usually doesn't make them feel very good either because it's not natural.
That's a great question, honestly. I think that the food dyes are hazardous. I don't know why they were, in all the foods, in the highly processed food as well. But yeah, I think that the food dyes are hazardous. Yeah.
The move comes after Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. rolled out plans to remove synthetic food dyes from the U.S. food supply. Kennedy has cited research that links the dyes with various health issues, but experts are divided. Nestle USA joined peers such as ConAgra Brands and General Mills in removing artificial food colors from their products.
I think anything that shouldn't be in our foods is hazardous to our bodies in some way, shape, or form, if it's not completely natural. If you go to London and you buy the same like cereal bars or Snickers or Coca-Cola or whatever, the actual ingredients list in London and Europe is different than what you see in America.
Europe has strict regulations on artificial ingredients. And while artificial dyes aren't totally banned in EU foods, there are warning label requirements. Many food manufacturers in the UK and EU have opted to switch to natural sources.
I think Americans took a long time to phase out the dyes because a lot of people aren't making very smart food decisions. I mean, look around. The United States has a super high obesity rate. People aren't taking their health very seriously when it comes to putting food in their mouth. And I just think that by the time that, I just don't think people in the United States are putting a priority on their health, and they should, and that this is a step in the right direction.
Kraft Heinz has also said it would stop launching new products containing artificial colors in the United States and plans to eliminate synthetic dyes from the existing items by the end of 2027. Several packaged food companies, including WK Kellogg and Tyson Foods, have been actively reformulating their products to exclude artificial colors and including new items free of synthetic dyes. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Businessman Elon Musk and the Lebanese president spoke by phone to discuss making elements of Musk's business empire available in Lebanon. The information comes via a statement from the Lebanese president's office. The statement said Musk expressed interest in Lebanon and its communications and internet sectors. Musk runs satellite internet service Starlink. The president invited Musk to Lebanon. The country ranks among the lowest in internet speeds. This comes weeks after the Lebanese president and other top Lebanese officials met with a Starlink executive in Lebanon's capital. The negotiations have prompted some pushback. Internet access in the country has so far been operated exclusively by state-owned companies and their affiliates. They're lobbying the government not to license Starlink. European regulators say they've uncovered a criminal scheme involving false documentation of Chinese imports to Europe. The scheme allegedly defrauded authorities out of about $820 million in lost customs duties and revenue. The investigation spans 14 European Union countries. 10 suspects were arrested during more than 100 searches. Law enforcement agents seized thousands of e-bikes and e-scooters and 480 containers. They also issued orders to seize real estate, boats, and bank accounts. The European Public Prosecutor's Office said the scheme involved several criminal networks, mainly controlled by Chinese nationals. They handle the Chinese imports into the EU, their distribution and sales, as well as money laundering and sending the profits back to China. All right, on to markets. Wall Street closed higher today as hopes for Fed rate cuts grew, and this is amid signs of economic softness and a holding of the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Now, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are near record highs. This is led by a broad market rally and gains in bank stocks. Mixed economic data showed uncertainty with soft consumer spending and rising jobless claims. Nvidia is up again, though Micron slipped despite strong guidance. And that's it for today's Business Matters.